Hi there, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. May Day holiday, I believe, is it? But here's me. I found myself talking to a mic again. This is my old DJI Phantom 4. That video got it the very first year they were released. Going back a good few years now, it's still a pretty good piece of kit. They're just as good as any modern day thing that you're paying a 5-6 grand for, maybe double that. It's Village of Sunhaven again, and there we are by there. I'm not saying that one how much I think. I'm not sure. The colours have come out nicely. It's only about 3 weeks ago that the part of the fields up the backside at the top was sown, I think. I took a video one day, the man sowing. But it's nice to see spring again, is it? But it's a long winter of cold and rain, snow and that, and dark nights. And having to pay like £100 a week to keep yourself warm nowadays. And I'm not blaming Trump for that, it's our own government. Now we're almost on the second video. Now, I think that was my DJI Mini 2. They're not a very big drone, but they do not too bad a job. A lot of people who use them say they're one of the best. I'm not going to dispute that, like. They are pretty good, but all DJI drones are good. All that good manufacturer is unique, but they moved everything to America now from London, Unique Aviation. Now let's just go over that wee bit of water there sometime and see what that is. That's the haunted house again, they say. Village of Sunhaven again, you see. I've just put up things to try and keep the channel active until I get my next video done. And most of that was going to end up pictures. The sea's nice and blue there today. Not always like that, like. She can be very temperamental with what she throws at you sometimes. No, I'm quite happy with me Mini 2 there now. Yes. I've no complaints anyway. We're almost on to another video. DJI Mini 3, I believe. Now, this is a bit of a mixed video. As far as I know, I remember, I've seen that was all prisoner war, hospital camp for RAF personnel, but then the army could have been here as well. But they took injured personnel and here had landed probably in the alongside the airport for getting medical attention. Now you're swinging around here, the new and old. In the background there is all solar panels. It's okay. I'm happy enough about, like, it doesn't bother me. Although I often think they say we can't grow enough food to keep our people in the country going. But I don't think that's altogether true. Maybe if it wasn't, I'm not going to say anything nasty, if it wasn't for people coming in from other countries. But that camp must have been a good size of camp back in the day. Probably would have been 1935 up to say 1945 maybe. Would have been the end of the Second World War. So it's just solar panels there. That gives you a better picture. But I'll just show you more of the old buildings here. We're here anyway. I'm not sure which one would have been the hospital or whatever, or operating place like, but I suppose if people would know all about it, maybe some people it was on there getting medical attention, maybe still alive today, that could come back and leave me comments and their experiences. That shed there used to be a man used to go in there and his sons, and he used to do firewood and coal, and he used to repair pallets. I know that was small jobs. Maybe would have made pallets and fence posts and things like that. That's all I'm going to say about it, because it's none of my business. I won't mention names. There's a bit of land in there. At that job of land in there, there's something always stopping the drone from going up. But there's some pictures to you, I think, that's your solar panels. Just the time of day I was there, the sun was in the wrong direction. There's more solar panels. In the back of that there's wind turbines. And you see some is more over here. 5 wind turbines I think there, along the panels. I mean, I agree with all that. It's supposed to be to save people energy, and cheaper than coal, but it's worked out about, I would say, probably 4 times more expensive than coal to run a month in the winter time. But I know from my electric, I'm £100 a week, whereas this last winter. So I don't believe a thing the government made everyone believe they were going to save money if they got solar energy. Much the same as that oil. Why are we importing oil from other countries when we've got our own oil? I'm not going to get into that neither. I'm not interested in that. Well, that's trees are further in bloom. I might go back in the height of the summer. Maybe a few more pickets when everything's in bloom. The grass is burning green and trees has some colour to them. Well, that's what it used to be, as far as I know. It used to be a hospital for wounded RAF service personnel. And I'm keeping everything private, because the way things are now in that country, you do not name places. I don't have to explain myself for that. I'm just playing safe, like YouTube told me not long ago. Stop naming your locations and fly legally and all that kind of stuff. But I couldn't ask anyone there because there wasn't anyone. There's a couple of boys across with the bundle. Here's a nice piece of kit for you, look. That was a lovely pic that I got a few years back. Now that's that video finished. We'll see if it's coming next. I know that's the DJI Mini 3, I believe, again. Yes, it was. It was in the same day. Location private. It's not in the drone operator's place or a photographer to name places. Especially now. I'm not saying much of the man's ploughing here, like, but he knows about it, he knows about it. I think he said himself, like, not saying much about the ploughing. So I disagree now. It's a nice straight road for you. Up at the top of the back of that wood, you should see a lot of deer up in there, but they've moved on. No, the ploughing's pretty rough, and that's all I'm going to comment. I'm going to say anyway. Nice, like a nice wee pond. You keep bleeding mackerel herring in there. Cheap meals. You swing around there, you see a lot of masts, radio masts that we used back in the day, and that's being used today. I'll have another video coming with them later on. Might be done before long. Go over and I won't fly alongside the mast or above them because that's not legal. And it's not a no-fly zone, like, but I'll just be sensible and abide by the rules. I think there is signs up anyway for us drone flyers. I can't remember. Wrong I could easily be. A few more pictures. I'm trying just to combine the pictures with the movies. That's all I'm doing. Yes, that's all I'm doing. I would definitely have fish in there. Definitely hard pond. I will just end up another video more or less. Now, Fraser would I think. I don't know how many people are there, or much of that people may be away from home. I took a picture, I thought, but they weren't saying nothing. It's quite a big size of graveyard. You've Tesco in there, you've Riddle, Keswick service station and all that places. I'm not going to name things, say such and such, just name what I see. You come around to Fraser Harbour, sports facility there before you come around to Harbour. There's a play field, I think, for the young kids there as well. There's a wee cafeteria there. That's a new building, something to do with, as far as I know, fishing. That's all I'm going to say. Somewhere maybe of a holiday coming in here at a bit of ground there before you get back around to the churchyard. So I'm pretty sure they were all at home anyway. Wee building there's where a boy made gravestones. golf course, right over a golf course. Now you're having a wee look in the North Sea again. I think there's pictures at the end of this one as well. So, a world name for it, but fair enough. It's a big place. Well, not really. A village compared to some. I felt like getting a good view of the graveyard anyway. It was a bit windy that morning if I remember right. That was the DJI Air 2 drone I used for that. Here we go. We are back again onto the DJI Air 3 again with this one. She's another good DJI drone. And I've got no intentions in buying drones costing anything from £1,000 up to 20 grand. Like, I'm not interested in that. It's not like I make money out of it. I don't get a penny from YouTube because I don't have 1,000 subscribers. You know, some of the boys on YouTube has got 1,000 subscribers, maybe a lot more than that. They can get to buy a drone every week, a new one. It was windy that day as well, look. Darn bugs have been blown about everywhere. The man was having to chase the bugs. I'm not going to name that location for reasons they would live in living beings and know this year. But I had problems with that video somehow. I don't know, something wasn't right with the drones. Working fine now, like. But I was always getting the press. I was a lot closer to the seed and the tractor. But when I checked everything, my distance seemed to be wrong. I was too far away. I've done better once with the Mini 3 before I got the Air 2. It doesn't matter. No harm's done. But I'll tell you a wee bit about the next video. Is probably coming up sometime. I'm going back about 12 years, maybe longer, 13 years, when I used to do the New Year show. Did that for 3 years. And I was doing a old farm museum, things like that, like Eden Country Park, taking pictures of old tractors. And the New Year show where I was doing live show there, the pictures of horses and their riders and things like that, and the craft stores. That can maybe be a next one, I'm not sure, or it could be one new and old fishing boats going back but much the same time. Do you see what I mean? I thought I was a lot closer to that tractor there than I was. I really did. Something went toward the pot, but I'm not worrying. I'm just doing that to fill in gaps in my YouTube. But we must be coming almost to the end, I think now. I'm losing track. There may be another one after this, I don't know. But that's what my next video is going to be about. Old farm machinery, thrashing mills, tum-tums and all that kind of things. Ploughing demonstrations. I used to do ploughing matches as well now. See, I mentioned it way back years ago. stopped doing all that now, really, because somehow I lost interest. And I've lost a lot of interest that last 3.5 years after the passing away of my wife. I'm on my own now. It's not so easy, because flying drones, you're supposed to have a spotter with you all the time. That's the end of that jobby now. We come round to land.